So I'm super excited by this kit. It's a Cherished chapters, and this one is the lost letters of the past. And you can see it's meant to look like a stack of mail as it sits in your journal. And there are tuck spots behind these envelopes. So this does come with the kit. This one doesn't. Some of the ephemera in here I'm just using to show you how much you could actually put in here. But it's meant for you to use some of your own things. So I didn't want to overdo it. So there's a paper clip here holding this closed, but it's unnecessary. It doesn't fall out on its own. It's journaling space to look like old stationery. And go in. And then there's another one in this envelope behind. You can see it here. Okay. Then we open it up. And this envelope opens, and there's more journaling space here. So lots of journaling space and lots of places for tags and stuff. So a little place here. There's some sheet music here, some old sheet music. Now this was designed to look like wallpaper that had been scraped off an abandoned home. It's part of the October House collection that I'm just beginning to launch. So it has that relic feel. I have other versions of this kind of kit that have not torn edges. You might want to check them out. I'll link to them below. But if we go further, we can see places for bigger things. A little corner pocket here, a little tuck area there, another tuck area here, little widgets and goodies in this envelope. That closes this way, and the whole thing opens up further. And you can see, I mean, it really feels pretty endless. So there's some pockets here, and here. And of course this one we saw earlier. And then, so if we close it up, then the back can be, close up our envelope there. The back can be glued into a journal, or you can use a belly band to keep it in. Now the other thing I'll mention before I go on to how this gets put together is that there are versions of this design called Cherished chapters that have actual journals in this spot, like this. Let me just show you. This is a travel themed journal, and it has a journal here. And I show you in the other videos how to do this. So check them all out. There might be something that really kind of gets you excited. Everything is very different. Everything is changeable. That's the amazing part about these Cherished chapters, that you just changing up a few things. Like for example, this and this, they both came out of the same kit, and yet they look entirely different. So just a heads up for that you should know about it. And now I'm going to show you how this goes together, and it's really easy. Okay, so how do we get this done? It is so easy. The first thing I did is I printed my kit because I'm using a kit. You can use any papers you want. You're going to need at least two 8.5 by 11-ish pages that are double-sided. So I printed purple on one side, green on the other. Then you're going to want envelopes, but if you're just using the kit, just print out the envelopes that you want to use. Now in the way I'm designing mine and what I'm demonstrating here today, I am using these envelopes, the larger envelopes that will actually open up, like the flap will open. So I printed a paper pattern on the back so it won't look white and raw and icky. And I did that also for the small. But again, if you're using pre-made envelopes, great, wonderful. So then everything is on the HP Premium 32 except for this page, which I think is page 19. And this is on 110 index because I wanted something a little sturdier. This is almost like a 65-pound cover, but not quite. It's a little bit lighter. But 65-pound cover would be a good substitute. So now I have to cut everything out. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to score on my envelopes. I'll score on all these lines so I know where to fold. I'm going to trim from both of these pages the border off. Okay, I'm just going to trim the border right off. I'm also going to trim the border off of these pages like this that have just the patterns on them. Just going to take the borders off. So I'm going to go do that. I'll be back and then we'll go ahead. So I'm doing my cutting and realized that I didn't discuss these. These are 2 interior pockets, and normally when I provide a pocket, I always provide a flap because I like flaps. I like pockets that have a little bit more room in them. But for this project, we are not using them. I decided to include them because if you use this for another project, you might want it. And so here I'm going to trim right to this trim mark, to this score mark on all of these, so that these flaps won't be here and it'll just be a flat pocket. I think for the bulk, you know, since we're inserting this into a journal, I think the bulk of this piece will be helped by doing that. And that would go for any of these little, the tuck spots, the pockets, the third pocket. Just cut off the flaps, or you could choose not to. Again, I just want to give you ideas and I want you to take them. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, so I have everything cut out, which means I've taken the white borders off the full pages, and that's leaving me with sheets of about 10.5 by 8, which is exactly what we want. Then for the envelopes, I've put my envelopes together, I think in the general way that we always put envelopes together, except for this size, the small size envelope, I've actually sealed shut. And something else to note is that all these corners here are 45-degree angles, so they could be rounded easily in a chomper, which is what I did. So what I did with this one already is I sealed it shut. I'll seal this one. And just kind of the way an envelope would be sealed out in the wild. Seal that baby shut. Okay. And once it's dry, or dry-ish, we want to rip it open as though somebody had actually read the letter inside. Voila, voila. Now through this one. Okay, just as though it had been opened. So of course I want to gunk up that edge a little bit more. I did ink everything that I wanted to off camera to save you the agony of watching me do that. But I am going to ink these because it's just easier to do it now than it will be later. So again, for these envelopes, I mentioned I printed on the inside so they look like they're actual aged paper. On these I didn't. They're not going to show very much. I mean, there's going to be something inside, but they're not going to show, so I didn't use up the ink for that. Okay, so what do we have? We have 2 small envelopes plus a mini envelope. This one does not get sealed ahead of time, and these don't get sealed ahead of time. So then I have here basically what looks like some pretty stationery to go in the small envelopes, and they can go in now or later. It does not matter. You want to make sure your glue is not shutting your envelope, and it seems like mine is right there. Oh, I just didn't open it correct all the way with the letter opener. So I'll put this one in here, and we'll put this one in here. Again, it can go in either direction. Okay, so that's done. Corners rounded, inked, everything is wonderful. These are cut out, just again to the trim size, no flaps on the sides. These are little corner tucks that you may or may not want to use. I have my full sheets of paper. And again, I printed them green, purple, green, purple. So now these will set aside. We're going to use these in a minute. Hey, did you guys see how I have a fancy can now? Yeah, I thought it was time. I was looking at a tomato paste can, or diced tomato can for too long. What we want to do next is decide what will be the inside and the outside. So it really is your choice. It does not matter. It's all going to look so much like just a pile of wonderful wallpaper by the time we're done, that it really is just a choice that you need to make. So that said, we might want to look at, okay, well, these are going to go on the inside in some fashion. How do you like how they look better, on the purple or the green? I kind of like this one on this one. It's similar wallpaper. It's not exactly the same. And this one, oh, that's tricky. You know, how contrasting do you want it to be? So that's going to be your choice. And I'm going to think about it for a second. All right, so I'm thinking this maybe looks too similar on here, and that I should flip it onto here. Just an idea. The other thing is, what's so great about this kit is that, yes, I'm making it with these papers from a kit that I designed, but you can use any papers, and you can use any papers in combination with the kit. So what I'm suggesting you do is have a bunch of scrap paper available to you while you're working on this project, because you just might find that you have something, you know, a little different that you want to add to it, and we have to add so much trim, if that's what we can call it, that it could be anything: ledger paper, floral paper, wallpaper, anything you have, book pages, dictionaries, you know, anything you've got in your stash can work for this project. So what do we do next? Okay, so I've decided this is how I'm going to make my journal insert. So the first thing I have to do is I have to pick one, and I'm going to score it at 2.5 inches. I'll just do it on here. That will make life simple. And I'm just going to score it at 2.5 on the left side. Okay, so then I need to make it 5 inches in the middle. The finished insert is 5 by 8. So this is at 2.5, so if it's 5, then I'm going to score again at 7.5. And then this will be the extra. And I'm going to do the same thing, pretty much more or less, with this page. Yes, I'm going to do 2.5 in from this side, so it's at about 10.5. So I'm going to come down to about 8. And again, you've got some wiggle room here. If your printer prints a little bit wider than mine, you know, it has a little bit wider border, you can still work with that. Again, the inside has to be 5 inches. So then I'm going to go from 8 to 3. Because that will be 5 inches. And now it's beautiful and perfect. Okay, so pick one, this one, with the shorter area on the right, and we're going to fold that as a Z fold. So we're folding that side in and this side out, so that we make basically a Z. Okay, and in this one, we're going to fold everything in. All right, so it kind of closes up. Okay, so now, let me make sure I have this right. Yes. So now we're taking our Z paper and we're going to tuck it right in here. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like on the outside. Just so you see it. Okay? So now comes the question, do you want to tear? On my original one, I showed it and it had torn edges, which I really like, and I think I'm probably going to do that. So this is where all of these also come in. Basically, what we're going to do is scrappy decorate all these edges. So these could be printouts that you printed out from the kit, or it could be, again, scrap paper, anything you like. This page here will just get glued down ultimately. It could be a pocket, and we'll talk about that, but once you see where we put the envelopes, it's almost irrelevant. So here we're going to tear this and then glue it down. So now, the idea of tearing, if I tear and I pull this side up and away, I'm going to get the white stripe. Let me show you. All right, so here's one that I had done. So then you're going to get the white stripe. Now this was a big white stripe, but I like that because my whole idea here was old, aged, weathered wallpaper. Stuff that's been on the walls forever, and if you've ever stripped wallpaper, you know what a bear it is to get off. So that's kind of what's going on here. So now I'm just going to do that. I'm going to take this and I'm going to start tearing. Now, the bigger I tear, the more white I get to show. So I can make it smaller, stay toward the edge. And if you come off the edge, I would say just go right back in and tear more on the edge. Beautiful. All right, so there's one. You could probably throw these away, even though so many of us try and keep everything. Okay, so now we want to decorate this edge, and that's where these come in. And you have a whole choice, a variety of colors and patterns. I think I'm going to use this. So what I'm going to do is simply rip it. Rip. And then I'm going to rip it again because it doesn't need to be this big. All right, that's good. This is good. Then I'm going to take it. Now, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing this other pattern shows up here, but you know, this is a scrappy project, so it is going to be fine. Now I'm going to fold it in half. Okay, and you want it thick enough or wide enough that it can be a little tuck spot or pocket on its own. Okay, so maybe this way we'll go this way. So the bigger side is on the bottom. Then you could tuck some things in there. Okay, so that's going to go there, and then we're going to glue it in, but not yet. I mean, we could do it now, but I'm not going to. Now I've got this page that also needs a little bit of decoration. So I'm going to do the same thing, trying to stay in the green area. Now you could, of course, cut these apart, but I figured since we were ripping them anyway, it didn't really matter. And now I'm going to cut tear and then fold. Okay, and you could just line up your tops and bottom edges here, and that should give you a straight fold. Okay, so now this is going to go here. All right, so you can see all the scrappiness is coming together. And now you want to open up and do this part. Now this is going to be a double pocket for sure. So, you know, pocket on this side and this side. So we want something pretty wide. So I'm going to use this wider piece and just tear up each side. All right, that's a little wider than I want. So I'm just going to pull it this way, pull off some of this. This is too much white showing. Now, in a perfect world, meaning off camera, I would ink all of this, but I won't today. I'll do you all a favor. So you can see now if I pull up this side, I don't get the white. So I'll go this way on this side so you can see the effect of not having a white edge. Okay, so here's no white edge, and here's actually a big white edge, bigger than I want. Okay, that's better. Now I'm going to take this and fold it about in half. You know, everything is kind of relative here. And give it a good score. A good burnish. And that is going to go here on both sides of this, like so. All right. Beautiful. Could actually even be a little narrower, but we're going to go with it. All right, now we have all of our little pieces. The first thing we're going to do is glue this to this. Now, when the piece is assembled, this pocket is only mildly useful, or it can be only mildly useful, but I'm still going to suggest we glue it in as a pocket to start. We can always decide later, let's just glue it closed. So what we want to do is line it up. And again, if you've printed it from the kit, it should just be the same size once you've trimmed off the white space. So we're just going to put glue on the top and bottom. And then fold it over. Oh, probably should do the bottom. There we go. Now, there is a chance I'm going to come in and stick glue under here and seal this up. But there's a chance I won't. We'll see how it goes. I just dripped a little glue on there. Okay, so now we have this part. Now we're going to open this up. And we have this part, and we decided this piece was going in here. And this is what's going to create a pocket. So here's what you want to look at and say, you know, that's kind of a hard pocket to get into. So I'm going to take a little bit more off here. Just a little off this top part. Much better. So the same thing, we're going to glue just the top and bottom. This one definitely, because it will remain a pocket in all likelihood when we're done. Top, bottom. And then you just want to make sure that it's lined up. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. Now, so same thing here. This seems like a little bit, we should have plenty of room, she says confidently. Let's leave it. We're going to leave this one a wider pocket. It'll hide more of the contents. Okay, so now, the one thing that you might do here, which we can kind of cheat from the other side, is run a bead of glue down this crease on the inside of that pocket. So basically you could have done it and should have done it while you were gluing this down. Just run a real thin bead there, and that's just going to help keep everything together. Okay, so now we want this guy to go here, right? Yes, because I'm going to put this there. And same thing, this is going to be a top and bottom. So I want the bottom to be the thicker part, even if the pattern is a little upside down. I'm going to put it over the whole thing. And now we're going to add it in. Hold it in. And make sure it's straight. There we go. Okay, so now we have pockets, pockets, pockets. We have pockets, 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 pockets. This one may not stay. It'll be your choice. None of these have to be pockets, by the way. And again, all of this could be book pages, other things, ledger paper, anything you have. So now I am going to put one more pocket on here. And this one I'm gonna, let's see. Yeah, something about that way. That'll be good. And it is going to flip over on here, but this one will hardly show. It may show in spots, so you might as well do something you like with it. Because it all depends on how you place your envelopes in the end. So now let's close this up. Like so. make a scrappy pocket here. Beautiful. Okay, so now we know we want to put just on the top and bottom a little glue. Okay, so now we're going to fold it in. All right, so top and bottom. Top and bottom. Look at that, it is so fun. It is so scrappy and so vintage, so wallpapery. All right, so now we have all of our scrappy parts done. Now we can decide where our envelopes are or where our larger pockets are going. So I'm going to put this one right here. Yes, on the purple, and then this one here. It's a little bit bluer than this. And again, we're just going to glue it in as a pocket. It's been inked. It's happy. It's good. Don't argue with me now. And we're just going to put it between this 5-inch spot. Right in there like so. And the same with this one. All right. And now we're going to put this one in here. Kind of just line it up in this 5-inch space. Okay, so I can see I've got a little glue right here that has spilled out. And my glue eraser seems to have disappeared. You know, it's funny because it's not even a messy desk or a messy table. So I'm not sure where it is. I'll clean that up later. It's not a lot and it won't be a problem. Okay, so that's great. That's it. Sorry, I got kind of waylaid here. All right, we have our main insert. So now, wait a minute. You're supposed to go somewhere. Did I forget somebody? Oh, I think I had chosen this for that, but that's okay. Yeah. All right, so there's extra, but that's good because for tags and things. So now we want to arrange our letters. So we have a couple of different options here. So one of these, I'm not sure which, is going to wind up in this pocket. Maybe the red one. Which would put the purple one out here, which could work just nicely. Yes, I like that. Okay, so then we have two more, and each envelope comes in two versions, with an address and without. So you can decide how you want to, if you want an address one on the outside or not. So here, I want this to be able to open, so that when I open this, I can use it as a journaling card space. Now, you could simply glue the flap to the side and then it would open that way, but that's a whole different idea. For this idea, we want this letter to be a little bit more, let's say, centered, okay? So you want to just look at it and say, okay, I want this to be available and I want this to not cross the boundary of the edge. So you kind of just figure it, yeah, about there, right? That should work. Now, I like mine a little crooked, but I still have to go back and make sure that I'm going to be able to open it, which I am. So it's going to come over this little edge a little bit, but that's fine. I'm going to put this one, no, maybe I'll go this way. Okay, so just make sure that this is open so that you can get into here. So what I've been doing is just gluing the tops and the bottoms. And then this could technically be a pocket as well. So what did I say? I was going to go this way or that way? I think I was going that way. So the best thing is to keep that open. And now we're going to glue this down. Now you might want to give it a dry run with these others to see, okay, well, where and how will these go down? Maybe like that. That looks good. I like seeing this little bit of stamp. Maybe I'll move this one up. Maybe I'll use this little bit of stamp instead, and then leave the one with the writing on it, because I have no one that I feel like I'm going to write on there, so I can cover this one up. This one is empty. You know, you might want to write something here. That's why I provided it blank. And then this maybe like that. So this is the point at which it does not hurt to take a photo with your phone and just say, okay, this is how I think I'm going to lay it out. Okay? So this is how I'm going to lay it out. I'm going to, sorry, I picked this up again. Okay, so I need this to be here. And I know I'm not making this a pocket on this side because there's just too much else going on. But you could, and I've done them with making this a pocket. But this one is not going to be. So now, let's say about there. And then up a little bit. Okay. Again, this is, you're going to have to decide how you want yours. So now when I close this, it closes just fine. And I can still get my card in there. Okay, so now get that glue off. And then let's look at the next. So I think I said I was going to do a green one next because I didn't want, I was going to cover up the empty one. And then this one would go like this. So maybe this one would come up here like so. There we go. That looks nice. So the thing you want to remember is you do not want to violate the edges, because then your insert will not open correctly. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. You could mark it. Like I can see I'm going to put it right at the tip of that flower. So now you want to be careful because I want this to be a pocket. I want this to be a tuck spot. I want it to be possible to do that. So I'm only going to glue here and here. And I'm only going to go to there. So I can go as long as I want on the top. But I'm only going to go a little bit on the bottom, and that's going to be my tuck spot. And I'm going to remember I said I was going to put this to here, and that's where I'm going to put it. Okay, good. Let's make sure that it's not gluing anything that we don't want glued. So now this one I might put this way, because if I put it this way, the way I want, the pocket is going to open down, and I don't want that. So I'm going to put it this way, which works just fine. And here again, I'm going to just do here and anywhere here, because I don't want to glue under this flap. Follow? Follow. So a little bit here. So what I'm going to do is just glue it down in place. On this side. Ah! Well, that's where it was. Give it a second. And now I just want the littlest bit of glue under here. Come on, glue. So that it can also be a tuck spot. Okay, let's give that a second to dry. All right, but see? Pretty snazzy, huh? So again, you're going to need to decide how you want to stack your letters. You can also just put one letter or two letters, but now I have it so that it's a tuck spot and envelopes. So if I wanted to come here, I could put something else here. Oops. See, I did some with book pages. And something else here. There we go. So I can add more stuff to it. So I've got a tuck spot, an envelope with contents, another envelope with contents. Put it in the right way. It's going in the tuck spot. Oh, come on. What's it getting hung up on? It's because the camera's on. There we go. That will go in here, and now in here, we can put something else. Okay, so we have got lots of room. This is a little bigger than my original envelope, but I'll show you that next. Okay, so then we have this little guy in here. We have another tuck spot here. Pocket here. We have tuck spots here, here, here. And I think there's one more. Yes, there's one more. So what we have are some of these others. So we can stick this in here. This is a little tag. I'm going to just glue it down. And then cut it. Perfect. I'm going to ink that. Okay, beautiful. And then for this, I like this shape here, and that can go really anywhere. Now, the one thing we do want to do is I want this other envelope here. I almost forgot that. So same thing. I'm going to kind of look at it for where will it show a little bit, maybe like that. So I'm going to just glue this in place right here. So get a little glue. And I'm going to do it as a pocket. May not use it as a pocket, but by gluing just that part, this part here, then I have the option. Let's get this stuck down. Make sure I can still see it a little bit, which I can. It's right there. And it just adds to the stack. Okay, so this is still a pocket. It's probably too big, yeah. And this is an envelope that can open. This is a pocket. Now that's what these are for, this, to make yet another tuck spot. You can make this one a little bit bigger if you want. And again, use any papers you want. I'm not going to rip this. On other versions I have ripped the edge, but it's small, so I'm going to leave it small. And of course, you could put another one there, and there's lots of room in here. Cool. Okay. So now we want to finish up some things like, oh, there's this little pocket too. If you care to, you can add an additional pocket here maybe, and then you could add a letter here and then something else smaller here. This might be perfect to go in this little tuck spot here, and then you could still put something in here. I mean, it's endless. It's absolutely endless. So this I'm going to fold and glue, and then I'll trim, because I made it so that I would just trim to the right size after it was folded. I want it to feel like an actual postcard. There we go. Give it a second, and you can see it does, when you print it, it does have some extra on the edge, so we're just going to trim that off. You're going to use scissors probably. I'm going to use a knife, assuming I can find one. this edge as well. And just anywhere where you see white showing, you could just trim it. It should be the right size. Beautiful. Birthday wishes. And I might round the corners. And the other side. So like looks nice and aged and has a story to tell. So now this, if you wanted to, because you've made tuck spots here, you can tuck it in here or in here. However you like it. Where's my Lego? Oops, that was in there. Okay, so what else? So for here, we have this envelope, and what I do, the envelope has actual journaling space inside of it, you know, opens right up, journal, 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 stick it in here, yesterday's mail. Then I have these little paper clips that can be used for keeping it in if you care to. Just put it there. It's also possible, there are some stamps here that could be put on this lid just as a decorative item to kind of indicate, oh, open this up. Why not? Let's do it. This is just a sampling. I'm going to use the bird. Make sure my scissors are going the right way to make a perforated edge. But it becomes more beautiful with a little ink. All right, so this I'm going to just put here again, so it sort of just says, oh, lift me up. So just put on the top third. Could even just use glue stick for that. Let's say there. We'll let that dry. And Christine and her glue excess, which is just my way. Make sure it doesn't stick to there, which it shouldn't. We have a tuck spot here. You could again print more stationery, stick it in there, or you might have some letters and things that you want to put in there, and you might be using actual letters here. So whatever you've got, so we could put, we'll save that one. Here's some tall things. This was made, again, just using scrappy book pages. I just ripped it and used some of my paper that was printed onto index and wrapped it up, and it made a cute little tag. So this can go in here. And this can go here. This can go here. I mean, there's just so much that you can fit into this. It's endless. There we go. So it's just one ongoing, lovely, that one is sticking up, which is fine. You want stuff to stick up. It's supposed to look messy, but there we go. So do I have something in all the pockets? I think so. And then here, this needs something, a little card or something. There might be something in the kit. Oh, there is. Actually, there's still this, which is a long, tall tag for the calendar. And this little photo, which I'm not sure it fits in here unless I trim it all the way. So let's do that. So again, you've got some leeway here. You can use any papers you want. You just make a Z fold on one page and a gate fold on another. And you can see, watch the video again if you need to see again how the two get glued, but it's really simple. You just slide one in right here. You slide this in and glue it. Again, any papers. That's the cool thing about this. this kit was designed for just this purpose. So there's so much room in here still. I mean, I could add so much more. And again, I did make this little sampler paperclip kit that has an angel, a heart, a balloon, roses and a clock, and then a dove. So this was meant to go with this for me, but if you want to get those, they're available too. So I'm loving this. So this is screaming out for something. I'm not sure what yet. So let me see. Maybe I'm going to add some words. I think I should add some words. So okay, so this is the back. And my thinking is you could decorate it definitely. Do some collage on it, put some labels on it. But the chances are, for me anyway, this is going to go into my journal. And I'm guessing, I haven't designed it yet, I'm going to include a belly band, because somewhere in here I have a belly band. You know, I really should prepare better. But so this can slip right in here. I'll just show you with this belly band that it can go right into your journal just like that, that you don't even have to glue it in. But if you wanted to, you could easily, let's go to another page, glue this right into place. And then it would still, sorry, I know I'm off center today. It would still open. I mean, it just keeps opening with little tuck spots and envelopes. And it all looks like old paper, which makes me happy. So there you have it. If you have any questions, just hit me up. I'm happy to explain anything that wasn't clear. I know it was a little bit tricky there, seeing how I arrange them, but you'll know when you go to arrange yours how you want them. And remember too that there's like mega tuck spots and envelope spots and pockets and whatnot. Go create, be awesome.